This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because we're not going to be used. Fear is not going to be something that we're going to. That's going to be what drives our country. We're not going to be scared of Muslims or immigrants or, you know, women.
The worst thing about George Clooney isn't the unremitting bullshit that streams out of his mouth. It's the way he always acts as if he's got the moral high ground. You don't have the moral high ground. You're supporting one of the most corrupt politicians in generations. You're supporting a woman who took $100 million from Gulf state dictators, countries responsible for some of the worst human rights abuses on the planet. You're supporting a woman who's in bed with Saudi Arabia, a country that bankrolled ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and was involved in 9/11.
Trump is actually a result, in many ways, of the fact that much of the news programs didn't follow up and ask tough questions. That's the truth.
Really? So if Trump wasn't asked hard questions, why do studies show that he got the most negative coverage out of any Republican candidate?
You know, the ratings go up because they can show up empty podiums saying Donald Trump is about to speak. You know, as opposed to taking those 30 seconds and saying, well, let's talk about refugees, which is the biggest crisis that's going on in the world right now.
Okay, George, let's talk about the refugees, because it makes complete sense that you would throw your support behind Saudi Arabia's preferred candidate. You see, Clooney and the Saudis have a lot in common when it comes to refugees. They both whine and bitch about refugees all day long, while taking in precisely 0 refugees. Saudi Arabia has 100,000 air-conditioned tents with bathroom and kitchen facilities that can house 3 million people, sitting empty for most of the year. How many Syrian refugees have the Saudis taken in? None. George Clooney visits Angela Merkel to lecture Europe about how they're not doing enough for Muslim migrants, despite accepting millions of them over the past year. How many Syrian refugees has George Clooney taken in? None. 0, nada, zilch. The guy's got 5 frigging mansions, 3 of which are in Europe. He's just bought another one in Britain for £10 million. Clooney and his wife have got room for a new swimming pool, a home cinema, a library, a steam room, a spa, a gym, a wine cellar, and 8 empty bedrooms. But no room for any refugees. So Clooney, when are you going to do your bit for the refugees you care so deeply about? Or is this just one long, tiresome exercise in virtue signalling? I wonder. How dare you lecture Germans about accepting more refugees from the comfort of your $100 million Lake Como villa, while people in villages like Sumte, with a population of little over 100, are inundated by 750 unassimilated Muslim migrants.
We've lost the ability to get to and tell the truth and get to the facts.
Seriously. This is a guy who throws $350,000 a plate fundraisers for Hillary, and then has the nerve to get on TV the next day to complain about getting big money out of politics. This is a guy who lectures Hollywood about diversity, yet whose new movie doesn't feature one single black actor. He's a total hypocrite, and I'm sick of seeing his smug, self-satisfied face spewing out meaningless platitudes while the media makes out like he's Jesus fucking Christ. Clooney once angrily lectured a journalist who called one of his movies boring. You make a lot of films yourself, yeah? I'd like to see you make a film before you get to talk about it. What a jerk, said Clooney. Well, I'd like to see you listen to the parents of women and children raped by Muslim migrants in Europe before you get to talk about it. I'd like to see you house a single Syrian refugee in one of your numerous palatial mansions before implying that we're all racist for expressing concern about the millions of Muslim migrants pouring into Europe. George Clooney is a total prick. Fuck George Clooney.
This is the good life. Join us. You can have anything you want. You are a god. You can have the world. This is what they tell them. They don't tell them the small writing. And so people get infatuated by the luxury and the lavishness of being Wow, running elbows with the rich and the elite. Your own private jets and yachts and islands. And the good life. They're treated very well. And then they join. They decide, okay, I'm going to join. I'm going to join with you guys. And you start moving through the levels and you realize, hey, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for. Because then you start learning the ghastly truth of Satanism. And then when you get in, it's rituals, eating babies' hearts, sacrificing babies, drinking blood, being forced to have, if you're married, adulterous relationships because all of them are forced into adultery. Satan doesn't honor a marriage. You're married to him. Satanists have their own services that mock Christian services. They have them almost every weekend. They have them in underground churches across America. And they do everything opposite and against what a real church would do. Why would you want to join a group of people that think eating feces and drinking urine is fun? It's not optional. You have to do it. They all do it. And they don't complain. They get beyond that stage. They don't complain. They do it. I mean, anything that we would think is totally inhuman, abominable, then that's what you must do in Satan's realm. These groups are huge. There could be 100, 200 people at a gathering. They meet on estates in people's mansions, often on a Friday or Saturday night, so it looks like the person's having a party, maybe. They meet in churches on Saturdays, underneath Catholic churches, for rituals. They have these rituals where they bring in animals. And this weekend, pretty much all the groups had donkeys. And they force all the members to have sexual relations, bestiality with the donkey. Okay, you've been on my nerves for 2 months, you get the cat. And you've been on my nerves for a month, you get the dog. And you, the highest ranking of us all, you get the donkey. She chooses who gets what. And she forces them to be sodomized. They all do this, not just her. They force them to be sodomized by donkeys. They force them to perform fellatio on donkeys. And nobody gets away with it just because you're the president of the United States who goes to the Chicago ones where Penny Pritzker is in charge. Just because you're the president doesn't mean you get out. It means you have to give more. Because you've got the highest rank in the land, more abominable things are expected of you. It goes on. One of the biggest things you give up is any kind of humanity. It's nothing but about humiliation and degradation. You want more, you have to give more. You have to give up everything about what makes you human.
Here we have Beyonce recalling a time before she went to perform and how she felt something else come into her. Here we have the actor Jack Black, who admits to selling his soul to the devil on The Tonight Show. Here we have Katy Perry, who in an interview also admits to selling her soul to the devil. Here we have Roseanne, who says she made a deal with Satan. Here we have Kanye West, who was performing on stage and then suddenly told the audience he sold his soul to the devil. Here in this interview, we have Bob Dylan, who claims he sold his soul to the devil because he made a deal with the chief and commander of this world and another world we can't see. Here in this song called The Evils by Jay-Z, he says, "It gets dangerous. Money and power is..."
The image of a real drug dealer and a gangster when he used to be a prison guard.
I like to kill. was only who I like to kill.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about shooting people, do we?
No, but you're teasing when you say you like to kill, right?
No, I'm not teasing. I used to like to kill.
You know, he used to call me Colonel Depp. You know, he said, Colonel, we must produce this. You know, we'll produce this together. It'll be our, you know, and so that was the plan. Losing Hunter took me down because you know that these friends, these mentors, these teachers, these father figures, these someone who you really. It was amazing to be accepted by them and to be loved by them. He dictated exactly the way he was going to live his life.
Or maybe he didn't care.
Oh, well, he couldn't give a rat's.
Yeah.
He really didn't.
So it didn't make any difference what planet. It was all going to be about him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
West Memphis 3 have become a cause celeb. How can you be absolutely sure that these 3 men are innocent?
If there was the tiniest sliver of doubt, I wouldn't be sitting here.
They're cold-blooded murderers.
In your opinion, it doesn't add up that way.
In my opinion, and 24 jurors out of the state of Arkansas's opinion.
In the West Memphis 3, convicted of a horrific crime, the murders of 3 8-year-old boys in Arkansas.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual.
Do you feel a sense of the clock ticking?
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel a sense of the clock ticking?
Oh, yeah.
You know that sometimes when someone from Hollywood takes a stand on an issue, he can be dismissed or sometimes accused of doing it for publicity.
Yeah, I'm a big publicity hound, me. If they try to make me squirm, that's nothing compared to what these guys have had to deal with for the last 16 years.
Christopher was a shy one. Michael Moore, he was going to be a police officer. Stevie, I'm so proud of him. He was an achiever. He was a very brilliant, wonderful baby God blessed me with.
The little boys were found in a drainage ditch, mutilated and beaten to death.
And that's nothing compared to what these guys have had to deal with for the last 16 years.
You see, the entertainers, they have these crosses. This is a form of blasphemy, a form of deriding Christ.
The crime was believed to be part of a satanic ritual, so Damian Eccles, then 19, was sentenced to death.